Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a dynamic effort, a lower day, but a quick reminder. For those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below, it'd be greatly appreciated. Yes, I'm wearing deadlift socks to speed squat, mainly because I started my morning a little later than I wanted with this. Ended up going back to bed and overslept by about an hour. So I didn't want to deal with changing socks and stuff too much back and forth, so I just threw them right on to get through all that. We ran the safety bar though today, and yeah, that's a lot of band tension, and I think that's the way I want to go more and more with this speed work. I'm going to just rotate bars, stick with mostly bands. Occasionally I'll work in chains, rotate sumo and conventional. Now I did less sets today on the sumo because I added a lot more band tension, and I want to adapt to that. So realistically, 6 doubles of each exercise. I know it doesn't sound like a lot. It's only 12 total speed sets, but I think for my purposes it's fine, particularly with the crazy amounts of band tension. And I want to ramp the bands up. Like even these speed squats, I want to get heavier than that. But those went good. Obviously the stance is wide, and also I kept the volume a little lower to make sure my hips are okay. My hips are feeling surprisingly good, and even though I'm doing the ultra wide stuff, and I think the belt squats, the wide stance belt squats, have really done a lot for that, to where my hips are just stronger, they don't get inflamed. And I think because I'm rotating the sumo and conventional every week with the speed work, that definitely is helping. But all that's in a really good place. So for those curious, yeah, that's 225 pounds of bands. I'm running more band than I am plate weight on the speed pulls. Really, I might have wanted to go a hair tighter on the notch. It's still pretty tight. There's still, but the blue band I think has a tiny bit of slack at the bottom. The black is all the way taut, so not as worried because the heaviest band is at good tension. The blue might have benefited from one extra peg. I almost need to get another pair of band pegs to give a little more tuning, I think, for some of that when I run mixed bands. Maybe, I don't know, I might be overthinking it. But we did PR on all the supplemental work, and that's the main thing too, because that's where we get stronger. As long as the speed stuff is there, we recover from it, and we get the practice with the first sets, we can get the benefits. And some days I'm going to go with a lot more volume on the pulling. And I think that would be a good idea, but I feel like the 6 doubles today was really good. With that much band tension though on a deadlift bar, because I use my Texas deadlift bar, definitely dug into my hands pretty good, especially those holds at the top. But over to all the supplemental work, because I've had a little bit of a slight headache today, and it could have been because I slightly overslept. I decided to skip the neck work today. We did it already once this week. Not a big deal. We got 5 sets of neck work in. These were easier. I'm adapting to these belt squats. I'm almost like, man, I could have added more weight. But we went up 5 pounds. This is, on the belt squat machine, definitely the heaviest weight I've ever used. And we did it for 5 sets of 10. And I felt like I had reps in reserve, at least 2 reps in reserve. So we're in a good place here. Like, I'm really happy with that. Really happy with that. And I think it's maybe because I kept the speed volume slightly mitigated because of the really crazy band tension. And that's something some coaches have warned about. A few have said, and people will say, oh, it's not true. It's a little easier to overtrain with heavy bands. Be a little careful. We can probably do more volume with chains. Probably do more volume on chains. And we can when we run crazy amounts of band tension. I have limited chains. I don't have 200 plus pounds of chains anyways to throw on. And that would be such a pain in the butt on speed pulls. Squats, not so much. But, again, PR'd here. So it's like next time I'm going to go up 5 pounds. I'm going to see how it affects me different on max effort day. So this is one reason I'm not doing any other quad work. The belt squats, plus keeping in mind we are getting quad stimulus from the max work and speed work. There is some stimulus, and keep in mind it pre-fatigues us. It hits the upper threshold fibers before we go into this stuff. It makes it more efficient. We get better attenuation. The 5 sets twice a week of this really seems to be enough. My quads are growing. It's super high quality volume, right? We're getting a long range of motion. We go deep on these. It's hitting adductors, quads, glutes really, really well, especially with that wide stance. Me going as deep as I can get. Okay, it's great, but we're PRing on it. Like, it's slowly going up. I'm now using the heaviest weights. I've gone close to this heavy before with fives, but now we're at 5x10 with it. And I feel like those squats were easy this week. Like, even that camber bar squat was up over 500 pounds, and it was not a max. These are doing better. And I've noticed the other thing too, when I go with a wider hip angle there, notice that instead of knees in, it's easier on my hips. We're getting back to, this doesn't inflame my hips at all. I like this. If this feels good, I got 5 sets of 10 on this setting and had reps in reserve. Okay, none of these were to failure. So we're in a good place here. I can maybe start adding a few reps. But I didn't want to push it. I'm like, let me just do these in because I want to PR on the reverse hyper. I want to do what I did a few weeks ago to where I said, hey, I need to just start stacking weight on. And I made a big weight jump today. In the first set, I could barely do it. But by the last set, I adapted. The last set was clean. Okay, we get into our groove and then we get used to handling that weight on things like the reverse hyper. But we'll get to that in a minute. Because I was going to do that today, though, I took these and I'm like, look, I got my 5x10. And this is funny because on speed days before, when I first added these back in, what did we see happen? I would be struggling on the third set sometimes. Hitting failure on rep 10. Grinding rep 10 on the third set. Okay, now we're back up to the 5x10. And reps in reserve. Okay, hamstrings are getting stronger. Now, how much of that is the reverse hyper possibly carrying over? How much of it is good fatigue management? Right, all those things happening. All those things happening. Right, diet's on point, conditioning's on point. Getting tons of sleep. That's another factor. I've had nights in the last couple of weeks where I've actually hit 10 hours of sleep. Right, a lot of it's biphasic. But up to 10 hours of sleep. Eating 4,000 calories, 300 grams of protein, all clean food, high antioxidant status, anywhere from 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night. Okay. With my fatigue management perfect. Notice everything in my program is all about, other than the max work and speed work, it's all stimulus to fatigue. Really, even the speed work is, though, isn't it? All right. So by the time Worlds gets here, we're going to be in a good place. Hardest part for Worlds is going to be making weight. I may start trimming a small amount of body weight down soon just to make it easier. You know, ideally, you know, I would like to honestly not be over 216 to 218 as the absolute cap 2 weeks out. That's really my perfect scenario. Then it makes the water cut pretty smooth. Like, that'll make the water cut easier for me. So that's going to be the goal. So I may need to adjust calories a little here and there, up conditioning slightly. But look at these. We got these. Like, the first set was hard, then the second one was less hard, and then they got easier. I just had to get used to learning to get tighter, because that's the main thing. When you get this much weight, you've got to lock into this machine. You've got to get the grip perfect. Got to get locked in tight. But we did, and I'm happy with it. Very happy with it. So up to the 490. Now, I may not jump to the 500 this next workout. I may keep it right here. See how it does on a max effort day. And see if we can keep all of it as smooth as the fifth set was. But I think all that volume I did, I started ramping it hard with the 10 sets of 10 for, a couple weeks, twice a week. Now I'm back down to the 5x10 and just pushing progression. Okay, we're getting strong again at these, and I can feel it. All right, now my lower back stays pretty pumped oftentimes throughout the week as a result of it, because I almost get DOMs in it the next day. But it's expected because we're pushing it hard. Once I adapt to the weight, it'll be fine. We also get to the point of, once I move and I have a garage gym, do I want to get a heftier reverse hyper? because I'm going to get more plates even, so that I can take this up real heavy. Because I feel the carryover to my deadlift is massive. All right, I feel it's massive. But I'm very happy with today's workout. It's a little shorter than some of the others without the neck work, a few less sets on the speed work. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.